I, 29 male, have always lived by a pretty cynical rule. Trust is nice, but leverage is better. I know that sounds cold, but I watched my dad get absolutely cleaned out in a divorce when I was a kid because he was too gentlemanly to protect his premarital assets. That trauma stuck with me. It's the reason I own my house. But for the last 2 years, my ex-girlfriend thought we were renting it. I work in back-end logistics. It's boring, high stress, and pays very well. My ex is a freelance graphic designer. Her income is roller coaster inconsistent. When we decided to move in together 2 years ago, I didn't want to throw money away on rent, but I also didn't want the messy legal implications of buying a house together when we weren't married. So I bought a duplex in a gentrifying neighborhood through an LLC I set up called Redline Holdings. I hired a property management company to handle everything so my name wouldn't appear on any maintenance emails or rent portals. I told X I found this great modern spot for $2,800 a month. The deal was I'd pay $2,000, and she would pay $800 plus utilities. It made her feel like a partner, not a freeloader. What she didn't know was that her $800 and my $2,000 went right back into a high-yield savings account controlled by me. I wasn't spending her money. I was saving it to pay for our future wedding and a down payment on a forever home. I thought I was being smart and romantic in a twisted way. Turns out, I was just accidental genius. Things were great until about 6 months ago. She started getting distant. Phone always face down. Work dinners that lasted until 2 a.m. I had my suspicions, but I didn't want to be that jealous guy, so I doubled down on trying to be a good partner. I planned dates, bought flowers, the works. She dismissed it all as me being suffocating. The entitlement grew slowly. Because she paid the utilities, she started acting like she was the lord of the manor. If I left a towel on the floor, I was disrespecting her sanctuary. She'd make comments like, "Since I manage the bills, I should have final say on the decor." I let it slide to keep the peace. Then came last Friday. I came home early, exhausted, holding a bag of Thai food from her favorite spot. I unlocked the door and froze. She was sitting on the couch, arms crossed. Sitting in my favorite recliner was a guy I'd never seen before. Let's call him New Guy. He was wearing a beanie indoors and drinking my bourbon. She didn't even say hello. She just said, "We need to talk." I put the food down. "Okay, who's the hipster?" "This is New Guy," she said. "We've been seeing each other for 3 months. He understands me emotionally in a way you just can't." I looked at New Guy. He smirked and took a sip of my drink. He didn't even stand up. "Okay," I said, feeling a strange numbness. "So we're done?" "Yes," she said, standing up to try and intimidate me. "And we've discussed it. Since this apartment is my safe space, and you make plenty of money, I need you to move out." New Guy is going to move in. He's a barista, so he can't pay as much as you, but we'll figure it out. You have 10 days to find a new place. I blinked. "You want me to move out?" "Of the apartment where I pay 70% of the rent." "I'm on the lease too," she raised her voice. "I have rights." "Whatever. You have 10 days to get out. If you don't, I'm calling the police and telling them you're making me feel unsafe. I want you gone. This is my home." New Guy chimed in, "Yeah, bro, don't make it messy. Just go." I looked at the walls I legally owned. I looked at the woman I was planning to propose to. I looked at the audacity of this man drinking my liquor. "Thanks for the notice," I said. I walked into the bedroom, packed a duffel bag, and walked out. "Where are you going?" she called after me, looking confused that I wasn't fighting. "You still have to pay this month's rent. Don't think you could just bail on the bills." "You wanted space," I said. "You got it." I drove to a coffee shop around the corner and called my property manager, Mark. Mark is a shark. He loves drama. "Mark," I said, "it's the owner of 402 Oak Street. Pull the lease. We have a situation. My co-tenant just broke up with me and demanded I vacate so her affair partner can move in. I need you to meet me there tomorrow morning with a 3-day notice to cure or quit and a termination of tenancy for the co-tenant." Mark laughed. "Oh, this is going to be good. Did she violate the guest policy?" "She will I said, I'm watching the doorbell cam right now. He's bringing in boxes. That night, I stayed at a hotel. I watched the camera feed. Sure enough, new guy was moving his stuff in less than an hour after I left. They were celebrating. They thought they had won the lottery, a luxury apartment, and the rich boyfriend was gone. Here's the kicker. The lease agreement she signed had a very specific clause regarding unauthorized occupants. No guest could remain for more than 48 hours without written landlord consent, and establishing residency, moving furniture in, was an immediate breach of lease. Also, there was a clause that strictly prohibited changing locks without landlord permission. Saturday morning, 10 a.m., I met Mark outside. Mark looked like a hitman in a suit. Status? Mark asked. They're inside, I said, and I think they tried to change the locks. My key is sticking. We knocked. No answer. I knocked harder. Go away, she yelled from inside. I told you. You can come get your rest of your stuff next week. We're busy. Open the door, X. I yelled back. It's property management. Silence. Then the door cracked open. She was wearing one of my old T-shirts. New guy was behind her, holding a screwdriver. He was literally taking the deadbolt off. Can I help you? She asked, trying to look authoritative. She glared at me. Why did you bring him? Mark stepped in. Ma'am, I'm Mark from Redline Holdings. We received a report of a lease violation and unauthorized alteration of the property. I didn't change the locks yet, she stammered. And he moved out. I'm the primary tenant now. This is my boyfriend. He's moving in. We'll sign a new lease. That's not how this works, Mark said calmly. Per Clause 14, unauthorized residents are prohibited. You have an adult male here with furniture who is not on the lease. That is a material breach. Also, you cannot simply swap tenants. Whatever, she screamed, the entitlement flaring up. I pay rent. I pay my $800. I can have whoever I want here. He is the one leaving, so just put the lease in my name. I have rights. You do have rights, Mark said, but you don't have the income. To qualify for this unit alone, you need to make 3 times the monthly rent. The rent is $2,800. Do you make $100,000 a year? No, but we'll figure it out, she screeched. Just go away. You can't just kick us out. Actually, Mark said, we can issue a notice, but there is a bigger problem. You are being hostile to the landlord. She looked confused. The landlord is a company. They don't care. Redline Holdings is an LLC, Mark said, handing her a paper. Do you know who the sole owner of that LLC is? She rolled her eyes. I don't care. Some rich prick. Well, Mark gestured to me. He's standing right in front of you. The color drained from her face. New guy dropped the screwdriver. It clattered on the hardwood floor. What? She whispered. I own the building, X. I said. I bought it 2 years ago. I hired Mark to manage it, so things wouldn't get weird between us. I wanted us to be equals. You lied to me, she screamed, turning the victim dial to 11. You manipulated me. This is financial abuse. You were my landlord the whole time? That's sick. No, I said, keeping my voice steady. Financial abuse is trying to kick your partner out of his own home, so you can move your affair partner in to live on his dime. I paid $2,000 of the rent. You paid $800. And guess what? I saved every cent of your $800 in a separate account. I pulled out my phone and showed her the balance. $19,200. This was for your engagement ring. I said, now, it's for repairs and legal fees. She stared at the phone. She looked at new guy. She looked back at me. I could see the gears turning. She realized she had just traded a wealthy, committed fiancé in a subsidized luxury home for a barista with a beanie. You can't kick me out, she yelled. I have 30 days. I know the law. Mark handed her the red piece of paper. This is a 3-day notice to cure or quit. You have an unauthorized tenant. If he is not gone immediately, we file for eviction. And since you are also creating a hostile environment for the owner, who lives here, We can expedite this. Get out, I said. Both of you. No, she grabbed New Guy's arm. Call the cops. Tell them he's threatening us. He can't just throw us out. New Guy looked terrified. Babe, if he owns a place. Call them, she shrieked. So I did. I called the non-emergency line. I have a domestic dispute, and a trespasser refusing to leave my property. When the police arrived, I showed them the deed, the LLC paperwork, and the lease. The officers were tired but professional. Ma'am, the officer said, is this man on the lease? He's my guest, she sobbed. He was installing locks, the officer pointed out. That implies residency. Sir, he looked at New Guy. Do you have a lease? No. New Guy mumbled. Then you are trespassing, the officer said. The owner wants you gone. You need to grab your things and leave. But I live here now. X screamed. You are a tenant, the officer said to her. You have a civil process. But he doesn't. He has to go. New Guy didn't hesitate. He saw the badge, he saw the deed, and he realized the gravy train had derailed. He grabbed his box. Babe, I'll text you. You're leaving me? She wailed. Coward. He was gone in 2 minutes. I walked into the kitchen and grabbed a water. She was standing in the living room, shaking with rage. I'm going to sue you, she hissed. Common law marriage. I'm entitled to half this house. In this state, common law requires 7 years of cohabitation, and holding ourselves out as married, I said. We didn't either. Checkmate. I'm not leaving, she said. You have 3 days, I said. If you aren't out by Tuesday, Mark files eviction. An eviction on your record means you'll never rent a decent apartment again, and I will sue you for the full market rent of $2,800 for every day you overstay. She collapsed on the couch. Where am I supposed to go? I spent my savings. Ask New Guy, I said, or maybe use the money you saved by never buying groceries for 2 years. The next 3 days were a masterclass in petty behavior. I hired a security guard to sit on the front porch to ensure she didn't trash the place. It cost me a fortune, but the peace of mind was priceless. She tried to love bomb me on Sunday, sending texts about how confused she was and how we could work it out. I just forwarded them to Mark. On Monday, she started packing. I watched on the cameras as she tried to pack my 65-inch OLED TV. I used the two-way audio. Put it back. X, I have a receipt. If that TV leave the house, I'm filing a police report for grand larceny. She screamed at the camera and flipped me off, but she put the TV back. Tuesday came. Her parents arrived with a U-Haul. Her dad wouldn't even look at me. He was humiliated. Her mom, though, hung out the window of their minivan screaming that I was a heartless monster for making her daughter homeless. She's moving in with you, I shouted back. She's not homeless. She's just your problem now. X walked out with the last box. She looked defeated, but still managed to sneer. You ruined my life, she said. You did this, I said. All you had to do was break up with me like an adult. Instead, you tried to steal my house. Keys. She threw them into the bushes. Fetch. Mark stepped forward with his clipboard. Key replacement fee, $50, deducted from the deposit. What deposit? She yelled. He paid it, and he's keeping it, Mark said, to cover the cleaning and the locks you damaged. She got in a truck, and they drove off. As she left, she screamed, I never loved you anyway. I know, I yelled back. That's why I formed the LLC. It's been 3 months. Mark handled the legal side. She's gone. I kept the deposit. I found out New Guy dumped her 2 days later because, shockingly, he was looking for a sugar mama, not a girlfriend with baggage and an eviction notice looming. I took the $19,200 ring money and put it into an investment account. I call it my asshole tax fund. I renovated the house, turned her office into a gaming room, and raised the rent on the other unit in the duplex. I'm living for free, single, and peaceful. Sometimes, when you think you're kicking someone to the curb, you're actually standing on a trapdoor. She pulled the lever, and I just watched her fall.